Hello everyone, my name is Dana Beroš and I'm here representative of the Istrian Society of Architects. We have been working for the past 3 years on experimental publishing workshops, and instead of completely in detail explaining what we will be doing this year in Rijeka, I will try to go in retrospect and show you a chronicles, like a video reportage that some of the partners have seen it in Oslo, so please bear with me, but I think it will give a flair of what is Rijeka like, the city of Fiume, which is for the year of 2020 the European capital of culture. So first I will show you the video. It's this one. So the video is showing the workshop process. It was a collective process. Every time we work with publishing, we work as a processual device. It's not in a way of commissioned text or commissioned projects, but they are done collectively in a state of, let's call it even social choreography. It seems that this video is not the very best commercial video to advertise for Rijeka and to come to Rijeka. It's a very rainy, post-industrial, dark, in some aspects, even like an apocalyptical city. But it's all been used into the creation of the European Capital of Culture aura. And what is interesting about Rijeka, in the past century, it has changed five political states. It was a multi-ethnic port with a very strong industrial, not only container industry, but nowadays that industry is bankrupt and finished. Even though at the opening of the European Capital of Culture, which happened just not even 2 weeks ago, there was a grand finale of the opening in the so-called Opera Industriale that happened in the city's port, in which on a huge stage the workers' legacy, let's call it like that, has been fetishized and used as an image of Rijeka as the new creative city with the new creative class that will bring it up from its ruins. Throughout the workshop process, we have been critical to this concept of the European creative capital. We have been critical about the capitalized culture. We have also been self-critical and trying to find ways how to work within this project against the creation of the precarious creative class, let's call it like that, the dangerous substrata class. Parallel with the workshopping, we always do exhibition projects, and this was a collaboration with Dana from Belgrade and also with the Lisbon Architecture Triennale. We brought almost, there is the act in the Lisbon Act, the acting of Lisbon, and that happened in Rijeka. You see the way the interiors of course, post-industrial buildings that we were using and inhabiting, and actually the Rijeka ECOC, the European Capital of Culture, is using the exhibition space as a discursive space. So the publication that I'm going to show you, it's like the third edition of the Publishing Acts, which happened originally in Pula, where the Istrian Society of Architects is based. And it was the very first experiment in this collective staging of yet a new socio-political take on the city of Pula, which sort of resulted in a silk-printed edition, like an art edition of maybe only 40 copies. The publishing acts have been migrating since from Pula to Šibenik. Those are all cities along the Adriatic Croatian coast, and we ended up in Rijeka. So this year it will be the very first time that we're going to stay put in the same place and to go further from the ever-changing conditions, let's call it like that. Even to work in a condition of European Capital of Culture is, I guess, the most stressful one, with 600 simultaneously happening projects around you. But the thing with the Publishing Act for this year, we would like to summarize the experiences on the creation of architectural knowledge, to see in which way to gather practitioners from any kinds of para-academic institutions and to think broader in this so-called transversal pedagogies of Felix Guattari, and to think about a deschooling society of Ivan Illich, and furthermore to contemporary practices. The Publishing Act 3 has been hot off the press actually from last Friday, and I brought copies. Yes, thank you. And I brought copies for every one of you. It was a long process, as ever. We have collaborated with 6 emerging authors. Some of them came even from a collaboration with the Strelka Institute. Yes, please. This might be even like a staging of a collective reading, but maybe it will just be a staging of a collective flipping through the newspapers. So I would like just briefly to read some of the parts of the introduction of the Publishing Act on the so-called post-Rijekaisms, because the issue of the newspaper is from the day after what happens when the European capital of culture ceased to exist in Rijeka. So Fiume Novare, I mean, the Italians will see that it's a bastardized, broken Italian. It was an attempt of the publication to get immersed into the world of the imaginaries of New Rijeka. So in order to open possibilities for new ideas and new mythologies that will need to be deconstructed again in the future, the publication uses passwords. It has very many hidden meanings, even for the locals, but it's made to serve also the local community and the international arena and visitors. It will be disseminated and distributed in local libraries in Rijeka and through many cultural institutions that are, of course, part of the ECOC 2020. So I would just like to say that it's yet another attempt. There's a new print run actually of 4,000 of papers, and we tried to stage yet again a collective exercise, and this one even had a subversive, let's say, position on the European capital cultural policies of its capitals, and we had a de-idealizing self-relational critique within the project that was financed by the European Union. So I invite everyone who has any interest in architectural education to come and talk to me afterwards, who has interest in publishing, and thank you. The 4th event, the so-called publishing school, will happen by the end of May, from the 27th until the 30th of May. So it's just the weekend after the big vernissage in Venice. So it's just 2 hours drive. So please come to Rijeka and be part of the publishing school, or maybe visit an exhibition of Klimt or something like that. So thank you.